Hey folks, JG here, Chief Growth Officer for the Real Estate Investment Network, and I'm coming to you live because I want to talk about the state of the current real estate market. Man, it is a confusing time. Depending on where you live across this great country and depending on what country you live in altogether, the real estate market is confusing and more regional than ever before. So what's happening, for example, in Peterborough, Ontario, is completely different than what's happening in Aurelia. It's completely different than what's happening in Hamilton. It's completely different than what's happening in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Grand Prairie, Alberta, Abbotsford, BC, Halifax. You know, these markets. And what's happening is that real estate investors are getting the short end of the stick. And what I mean by that is they're reading headlines like national averages, national purchase prices up 76%, or some crazy statistic that, you know, the newspapers are saying. You have to be very, very careful, folks. So I want you to just anytime, for rule number one right now of the current state of the market is, anytime you see a statistic of any sort whatsoever, I want you to red flag, immediately raise the red flag in your mind and say, I am not going to believe that statistic until I look into it. Because your market, I'll give you a perfect example. People, you'll see stats right now about, real estate sales are plummeting. Well, they might be talking about one-bedroom condos because those real estate sales are plummeting. They may be talking about completely different a different asset class, like a duplex property or a suited property may be completely different. So right now, the first red flag I want you to really pay attention to is this concept of any statistic. The media, and not only traditional media, but social media, so-called experts, everyone are really good at using numbers to confuse you. I want you to be careful about this. So that's number one red flag. Hey, everyone who's watching live, I'm trying to hit the wave button here as often as I can. But what's up, people? So that's great. Please like and share this video. Let's get lots of people watching this live because this is critical. It's very, very important. So that's red flag number one. Number two is I want you to think of layers. So you remember when you were a kid, your mom or your grandma or your dad or your grandpa or whoever's doing the great cooking in your household, they would cook a cake, and you remember the layers in that cake. There would be chocolate, and then there would be vanilla, and maybe they put some strawberry jam in there, some raspberry jam in there, and there would be just layer upon layer of like heaven. It was just incredible. Well, those layers, I want you to, when you think of the real estate market today, I want you to think of that cake. And the layers that are within the real estate market are incredible right now. So, for example, I saw a recent statistic talking about how rents are going down. Well, that's not true. First of all, they gave a statistic, so that was my first red flag. I go look into that. Is that true? Some rents have gone down, like one bedroom apartments, one bedroom condos. Anything that is close or under to 500 square feet has gone down significantly. People don't want to be locked up by themselves anymore. That's crazy. So that has happened. On the flip side, anything with a 3 and 4 bedroom, has gone up 15%. But they don't tell you that in the thing. Okay, so that's the layers. When I talk about layers, I'm talking about not only asset class, not only property type, not only region and regionality, but I'm also talking about the type of property. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Is there a den? Is there an outdoor space? So the layers to real estate investing, which, by the way, have always been there. The layers are not new. They've always been there. At the Real Estate Investment Network, we've always talked about the layers. That's primarily what we do at like a big event like the Summit, our Real Estate Investment Network Summit, which is coming up November 13th and 14th. By the way, I hope you got your tickets because the price is going up today. Today is the last chance, I believe, to get the discounted tickets. The price goes up, I think, tonight at midnight. So go check it out, folks. Go to raincanada.com and go check out, get incredible value. You're going to hear from economists. Anyways, just go check it out. But let me get back to these layers. these layers have always existed. They're not new. The layers are not new whatsoever. They're just more prominent now because of COVID. What COVID has done and the coronavirus has done is it has shined a spotlight on errors that people are making, especially real estate investors. And folks, errors in this business are costly. You're not going to make a $100 error here. You're going to make a $10,000, $100,000, and if the deal's big enough, $1 million mistake. You don't want that. It is worth your time to go to an event like our Real Estate Investment Network Summit, where you get 1.5 days talking with experts, talking with economists, having 12 to 15 different breakout sessions. So that's critical. And so the first red flag, data, statistics, be very, very cautious of this, because right now the media is grasping at straws in order to keep the narrative going, okay, in the real estate market, because things are starting to slow down, things are starting to shift, and as a result, they're grasping at straws. So be careful of the data. That's the first thing. Second thing, the layers. Go back to the layers and consider the layers of information that you have to look into. The asset class, the property type, the regionality, also how many the specific things are happening in that property. Bedrooms, bathroom, outdoor space, living space, green space, all these things make a difference. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is, and I'll end on this for today, is we did a huge event yesterday, hundreds of investors from across the country, and we were talking specifically about the market cycle. See, everyone is asking us and asking me and asking Jennifer Hunt and asking Patrick Francie and asking us, where's the market at? Is it booming? Is it in slump? Is it in recovery? Where is the market at? Folks, we will be releasing this research at the upcoming Real Estate Investment Network Summit, okay? The team has been working on the research now for the last 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to take us another 2 to 3 weeks to complete the research, but we're releasing it at the summit. And here's why that's important. It's important because there are 72 different factors that have to be analyzed and looked at in order to release and tell you where the market is at. You know, we don't just willy-nilly tell you where we think this market is at. We have statistics, numbers, data, and here's what's happened is that it was too early to tell you where the market was at before this time. Here's why. The data didn't exist. So anyone who if they're making real predictions, and we are going to be giving you fearless predictions at this event, we're going to tell you exactly where the market is at, okay? What's important is that if anybody did this in August, it's just not truthful. It's just full of baloney. It's more of a guess than anything else. And the reason because the data didn't exist. During COVID, when we went through shutdown, folks, the data stopped. There was no more data to be looked at. For example, businesses that completely shut down, that stopped the data flow. So it was impossible for us as the Real Estate Investment Network and anybody else to make accurate predictions of where this market is at. But that has changed. The market's reopened. It's been reopened now for a number of months. We now have data flowing into us again, and as a result of this data, we are able to tell you accurately and tell you exactly where the market is at today and exactly where it's going into the future. That is what we're going to release at the Real Estate Investment Network Summit, November 13th and 14th. We can't release it any sooner. Shoot, if quite frankly, we chose the dates of that event around the fact that the research would be ready, because we knew how important this was to real estate investors. So if you want to find out exactly where the market is at, if you want to know if it's in slump, if it's in boom, if it's in recovery, if you want to find that out, come to the summit. That's where the answers are going to be given. And not only are we going to tell you exactly where the summit is at, we have a brand new expanded tactics table. Now, what does that mean? I'm running out of breath. There's so much good stuff to talk about. What that means is an expanded tactics table means that based on where the market is at, you should be operating your real estate business differently. For example, during a slump, it is not time to be fixing and flipping. It's just not. Is it doable? Yes, it's doable, but it's not the optimal time. It's not the best time to be using that tactic. On the flip side, when should you be doing rent-to-own strategy? When should you be doing buy and hold? When should you be doing agreements for sale? When should you be doing vendor takebacks? All of these questions are answered in the tactics table, which drives a lot of our investors, and it drives a lot of what they do on a day-to-day basis. we're releasing an expanded tactic table. It's increased by 300%. That's how much we've increased this tactics table, and we're releasing that at the summit as well. So summit's going to be huge, guys. Absolutely mega in terms of announcements, in terms of telling you exactly where the market is at. We have 2 world-renowned economists that are on the stage telling you the state of the real estate market today. That's November 13th and 14th. Today is the last day to get your tickets. It's the last day to get your tickets at this price. The pricing is going to be going up. So I want you to save money. I want you to come. I want you to invest in your future, invest in yourself, and take control of your financial security, your financial certainty, and your financial freedom. Okay, that's my rant for the day. I got a meeting I got to get to in 1 minute. I'll see you at the summit, folks. Looking forward to it.